Hi, we are live with Be Raw Nature, PowerNature.com, and we are just moving along in this 13 days of intentional creating series on to day 8. That's right, on day 8. Day 8, expand your imagination. Uh, One thing that I went through when creating this workbook was kind of like when I would come to a concept, I would feel like one concept was more important than the other one. So it was kind of a challenge to, just like put them in order because I didn't want anyone to think that they were in order from importance to least importance. Like for example, towards the end of the workbook, I mentioned practicing gratitude. And like that is mentioned like on the last page. Let's see, the last section is what to do now. And I don't mention gratitude until like the last paragraph. It says, do not forget, let's see if I can get it a shot. Do not forget to practice gratitude on a daily. I got it down here at the bottom. There it is. And it's like gratitude is very important. That is a concept that could have went in the front of the book. But my point is that whenever I think of each one of these practices that we're doing each day, all of them are of equal importance. One is not more important than the other one. All of these practices are things which you are to remain mindful of within each day. They are just that, practices. Their ideas, their thoughts, they are intended to give you a different viewpoint because what we're doing is we're shifting the mindset. So in order to shift the mindset, that takes a lot of practice because we are rewriting the set program that has already been established, and we are working to change that. So with day 8 is expanding the imagination. And that is so important. Like I said, they all are important. One is not more important than the other. But imagination is so important because with intentional creating, or with creating at all, as we discussed, especially with day 1, that it all begins with a thought. Everything starts in the mental field. Everything starts in the mind itself. You think of it first. So with your imagination, you are exercising and you're practicing thinking and imagining how this or that would feel, how this would feel, how it would feel to live in South America, how it would feel to move to the mountains, whatever your desire is. And I hope that you are practicing thinking of and creating things that are higher, not just a simple, a car, a house. We get that these things are used in our everyday physical life, but let's expand beyond that and think of and come into a life that maybe we would have never thought for ourselves 5-10 years ago. So with our imagination, we are getting back into that childlike mode of playing around, of creating invisible friends, invisible situations. In the book, I gave the example of, and this was such a great example, of when we were a child, we used to have a tea party. And in the tea party, you used to invite people to the party, and you would have, well, for at least for the females, I guess when you're a little boy, you probably was playing with G.I. Joe, but you still were imagining. You had all the soldiers lined up. They were in battle, or they were going to take over the fortress, or whatever it is, but you were creating this scenario in your mind. And you were putting yourself there. You were creating the characters. You were setting the stage. You were so involved in what it was that you were doing. Well, this is important to get back to the state of being, the state of acting out, and just simply imagining. And in doing so, you can begin to create amazing scenarios for yourself, getting to that feeling of feeling the of of being there, because that is a concept we reviewed in one of the earlier videos. Feel the feeling. I think that's day 3. And actually putting yourself there and being in that space. Imagination is so important, and it's something that we really should start back getting into, because we have just disconnected from. It's like it's frowned upon to pretend, or it's frowned upon to think that something is not so-called real, when in all actuality, everything that we see, everything we think, everything that we experience is indeed real. It's just rather, perception lies in the eyes of the beholder. So it's rather you perceive it as real, or rather someone else is perceiving it as real. What you may think is this, someone else may not think is that. So, keeping this concept simple as possible, what you do with your manifestation workbook is you're going to work with today imagining, expanding the imagination, and just get out your journal entry side where we write on each day, plenty of space to write. And then also, if you want to add more sheets of paper, you just take out your notebook. By now we should have notebook too, because we are writing each day, and writing down our thoughts and keeping track of our thoughts and being more mindful of our thoughts, and writing them down is the greatest way to be mindful of them. And create something, just whatever type of scenario that you want to come up with. Use your imagination. Add colors, add sounds. What kind of things are you seeing? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Just being as descriptive as you possibly can, and just coming up with whatever makes you feel good, whatever it is that truly connects with you, connects with your heart center, and really, really feeling that feeling that is within. And begin practicing using your imagination every day, all the time. You're in line somewhere, you're at the fruit stand, farmer's market, and you're paying for your fruits or your vegetables for the day. And just be like, and just imagine a scenario where the register rings up and says, oh, well, the person in front of you paid for all of your things. All of this is free today. That's a situation to imagine and to kind of play with, and whatever it is else that you're doing for the day. Imagine the most greatest thing for yourself coming true. This is Be Raw Nature.